Well, let's get a check on what's playing out there with other markets. We track and we see the euphoria right there in the crypto market is still quite high at this point, with the likes of Bitcoin hitting new highs, and most altcoins not really hitting new highs. XRP is still around that $2 range, and most of the big altcoins that we track, we see Ethereum there getting back above that $3,000 level, but it's not a new high, compared to what Bitcoin is doing at this time. Let's bring in Nova now. He's going to help us understand what's playing out. He's a co-convener for Decentralized Nigeria. Hello, Nova.
Hello, Lottie. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. It's good to have you, Nova. So much playing out in the market right now. We keep seeing new highs for Bitcoin. Did you see this coming?
It's expected. I mean, Bitcoin is a strong store of value. Of course, as how the market plays out, it's always going to come down and go up, come down and go up. But for all the doubters about Bitcoin and Web3 as a whole, the upward swing in the long run, in the long curve, is always going to go upward. So right now it's at 121,000 and it's strong. So any doubters, think of it of what Bitcoin was 10 years ago and the value it was, and it dipped. People were worried about it. The sky was going to fall. Oh my God, oh my God. And what happened? The Bitcoin just came rising right back up. Now look at it right now, it's 121,000. And plus Bitcoin ETFs last week pulled in inflows for asset management companies, I think a little bit over $1 billion last week. So Bitcoin is not going anywhere.
All right, and talking about not going anywhere, we know we have that crypto week that's starting today in the U.S. It's going to be a lot about talk about negotiations when it comes to cryptocurrency regulation. There's also talk about stable coins there. What are you seeing coming out from crypto week in the U.S.?
Well, Crypto Week is going to be strong, especially coming off the market as we see it with Bitcoin. They're just going to use that as a reason to push harder for regulation in the United States. There are about 3 bills right now that's being discussed with a variety of different senators. It's going to take some time to work out some of the issues, the kinks of what's happening with these bills. But I think if the senators stay strong as far as the United States kind of bringing it into the fold as far as its national wealth, I think these bills will pass. It's just going to take a little bit of haggling, and certain characters and individuals within United States politics are just going to have to be forward thinking and pass legislation that's going to be it's going to set up proper guardrails and proper operation for crypto companies. I see it coming. I always said, even though when Gary Gensler was the SEC chairman back then, that America will come around because they're not trying to miss out on being one of the leaders of this Web3 market that's kind of like sweeping across the globe.
Right, and talking about sweeping across the globe, definitely we're seeing the growth of Web3, in major economies at this point. But what are you seeing for the African continent when it comes to Web3?
For the African continent, it's a no-brainer. As I always said, the African continent has a variety of heaping amounts of wealth and resources that they have. And it's a matter of just tying in what Bitcoin and Web3 can mean and attaching it to those resources. And I think also the infrastructure is also there. It's these rising economies, these established societal, how should I say, systems that are taking place in Ghana and Nigeria and Kenya and South Africa. It's a no-brainer to kind of like attach these two things, these new technologies, what's happening in Africa right now. I think what's key that in particular what Nigeria should think about, and hopefully we can speak to as far as decentralized Nigeria with the public sector, is setting up some sort of a Bitcoin reserve. Bhutan is a small country right off the east side of India. It's a very small country. And right now they have about a little bit, say about $1.4 billion in Bitcoin reserve. And I think in ways where if there are any currencies that are actually trying to build or dig its way out of inflation, I think it's important that we can marry the benefits of what Web3 can mean, blockchain, into the traditional financial systems that have been existing for the last, let's say 100 years. And I think it could be beneficial for Nigeria and all other countries, African countries that are on the come up. There's so many ways that this can play out once you establish a proper infrastructure for Web3 and blockchain within each other's economies, African countries' economies, because you can kind of play the economies off of these different, say, economic vehicles where it can work towards a more strategic upswing of the country's currency at play right now. So I think if we strategize the proper way in these African countries, sit down at the round table, see what's in front of, say, the resources that are at play, and see how we can interlink these things within blockchain, we could kind of like spark off a new sort of economy that can bolster currencies in each respective country.
Right. We'll definitely keep checking the growth there of Web3 on the African continent. But thank you so much. It was great having you there. That was Nova Phoenix, the co-convener for Decentralized Nigeria. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.